Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Nate Nestor. I'm here today to try to convince you guys that the OPT, the Optimal Performance Training Model from the NASM, is the go-to whenever you're trying to train athletes for performance, injury prevention, things like that. Quite honestly, to me, rehab is training, training is rehab. It's all the same thing. The OPT model is an integrated approach to training, so it brings in all different aspects of sports, whether it be flexibility, cardiorespiratory training, speed, agility, quickness, proprioception and balance, power, strength, pretty much any aspect you can think of, it all brings together into one elite performance model. Their performance model goes from a staircase or a pyramid, if you will. The bottom, phase one, is going to be stabilization. Right after that is some strength phases where we go from strength endurance to strength hypertrophy to maximal strength, and then sitting at the top of the pyramid is power, both regular power and then maximal power. The idea behind this staircase or this pyramid is that you can't work on power until you have strength. You can't work on strength until you have proper stability underneath that. Some coaches, some physical therapists, some people might argue, hey, I'm a football lineman. All I need is some brute strength. I just need to get out of a stance. I don't need to be all that flexible and just push someone around. Yeah, I understand, and to a certain extent that is true. However, without having the proper foundation underneath that strength, you're not going to reach your pinnacle. So you're going to have a lower ceiling, if you will. So it's important to kind of develop those lower ends, build that strong foundation, and work up from there. And that's something that the OPT model works on very well, in my opinion. And one of the things that's often forgot about in training is balance. A study by Riva, Bianca, Roca, and Mamo in 2016 followed professional basketball players for 6 years, and they studied kind of single leg stance, proprioception, and balance as it relates to injury prevention. So they found that their athletes that had a higher proprioception and balance in single leg stance were less likely to sprain their ankle, less likely to sustain a knee injury, and less likely to have low back pain. If you kind of present a coach, physical therapist, doctor, anybody, an athlete with that type of information and say, hey, look, if you follow this and are working on your balance or these things that you might think aren't as important, you're going to be more likely to stay on the court, more likely to stay on the field, and they're going to buy in much easier with that. In addition, core is something that's often forgotten. I'll have athletes come in all the time, oh, I've got a strong core, look at my six-pack. And your rectus abdominis is not what we're talking about here. It's transverse abdominis, internal obliques, quadratus lumborum, multifidus, those things that really stabilize your core. They also transmit force. Rosemeyer, Hayes, Schweitzel, Hicks, Little in 2015 looked at core fatigue and its regards to maximal strength. So they did a maximal strength upper body lift, then looked at core fatiguing exercise, went back to that lift, and it was always decreased in value. So it's important to have that strong core to maintain that ability to drive that lineman around during the game. Last thing that I'll touch on is a study by Webster and Gribble in 2013. They looked at chronic ankle instability and gluteal inactivity. So whenever you sprain ankles, your glutes don't fire properly and vice versa. That's going to lead to kinematics in the knee, hip, ankle that can lead to injury down the road. So basically what we need to do as a whole approach here is just look at the whole body. Start with those building blocks of stability, move towards strength, then move towards power. If we continue to follow that, we're going to have athletes with a nice high ceiling that are going to stay on the field and be able to just run circles around everyone else. Thanks, guys.